love. Now, I know many of you saying, what do you mean by love? Because people have so many different understandings of love. What I am talking about is not the powerless, the weak, and the anemic love. No, no, no. I'm talking about be love and implement the demands of justice. Be love and use your power to correct everything that stands against love. The urgency of now is to dig in and create the beloved community by rising up to be love. Let's go forward in this moment and bridge the divides. Let's go forward to create the beloved community. Let's go forward and rise up to be love.
The nonviolent movement for social change must be properly interpreted, as well as developing programs that will deal with the issues of today.
Dear Coretta.
Dear Coretta.
Dear phenomenal woman.
Dear mother. I can still hear your voice lifted in song. I can still see the warmth in your eyes and feel the gentle wisdom of your words.
You had a vision of the future that felt impossible to so many. But your faith, fortitude, and integrity laid the groundwork for it to become a reality.
Thank you, Mrs. Coretta.
For creating, for singing, for leading, for being.
Heal the wounded soul. There is a God.
You didn't just teach it, you lived it. You told your own story in your own words. When others spoke over you, you let your actions be a guide for those who chose to see.
You are glorious, not because you are perfect, but because life's imperfections taught you grace. Sharpen your compassion and your passions.
At this point, I feel even stronger, and I want you to know that you have my utmost support.
You stared down hate, stood firm in your beliefs,
Protected the small, prepared a place for those who were oppressed. You showed us that resistance is a discipline, integrity is a practice in empathy, and courage can be cultivated by each and every one of us.
When people decide to be free and they are united together in that effort, nothing can stop them.
You weathered storms, rebuilt from charred embers, conquered fear, and laughed a lot.
you told us that we could be anything and that our circumstances didn't define our greatness. Most of all, you taught us that our dreams matter. Dear Coretta.
Dear Coretta.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Students with King serves as the King Center's flagship engagement platform for elementary, middle, and high school students, highlighting the legacies of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Mrs. Coretta Scott King, and the impact of the 20th century American Civil Rights Movement. Our dynamic and interactive programming has reached over 1 million students worldwide. Our core learning programs introduce students to the philosophy of Kingian nonviolence, coined Nonviolence 365, and provide important lessons about how they can apply nonviolence in their immediate environments. Whether you're an educator who is looking for ways to bring the King legacy into your classroom, a student who wants to learn more about this powerful moral movement, or a parent who wants to get your child involved in character building and literacy development activities, Students with King is your one-stop shop for unique lesson plans, teaching resources, educational field trips, and other opportunities to engage with the history of the American Civil Rights Movement and its powerful leaders. We look forward to engaging with you and your students. Together we can build the next generation of compassionate, courageous, and conscientious leaders.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to another amazing edition of Students with King Reading Corner. I'm your moderator, Tariq Wynn. Man, guys, I'm so excited, man. We have another amazing Students with King Reading Corner prepared for you guys today. They did an amazing job putting this program together, and it's going to be a familiar face, somebody who is no stranger to Students with King. But before we get into all of that, of course, y'all know exactly what time it is. It is time to go ahead and do the roll call. So what we want you to do is comment, put in the comments, head to the comment section. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from. Shout out your state, your city, your school, your country, because this is an international program that is broadcast worldwide. Worldwide people tune in to our amazing broadcast as well. So go ahead, let us know in the comments where you guys are tuning in from. We want to shout you guys out, show y'all a little bit of love on this amazing Tuesday morning. So go ahead, hit the comment section, and let us know where you guys are tuning in from. In the meantime, I want to invite you guys to go ahead and take our survey. So what you can do is you can put your cell phone up to the QR code that's on your screen right now. Go ahead, pull up your camera app and go ahead and scan that QR code, and you can go ahead and take our Students with King Reading Corner survey that lets us know how we're doing and what you guys think about the program here at Students with King Reading Corner. So please go ahead, take some time to fill out that survey as well. Well, without further ado, I want to go ahead and bring up our amazing author, the one and only Miss Sedara Burson, who will be reading her book, Genuine Giovanni and His Power to Communicate. Oh, communication is so important. So this is going to be so good, right? So Sedara Burson, she is an author and counselor. Her passion is for serving others through training and education. And she's most interested in helping people of all ages enhance their emotional maturity. Ooh, that's powerful. I love that. So let's go ahead and bring her up now. Good morning, Miss Sedara. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah. So, we got some people tuning in. We got Marcus saying hello from UK, Birmingham. Okay. Appreciate y'all so much tuning in this morning. We got Franklin Reed from North Carolina this morning. Thank y'all so much for joining us. We had ATL in the house, of course. That looks like a relative. Is that a relative right there?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
Dr. Burson.
Nice. Thank y'all so much for watching and supporting her as well. Watching from Columbus, Georgia. Okay, Columbus in the house. Thank y'all so much for tuning in this morning. We appreciate it. So you got this amazing book, Genuine Giovanni. Let's go ahead and get into the book reading.
All right, I'm ready. Genuine Giovanni and His Power to Communicate. I want to shout out my illustrator, Abira Das. She is amazing. I dedicate this book to my nephew, Giovanni. You are a young Renaissance man, so talented, smart, handsome, and loving. Continue being the best big brother, cousin, son, nephew, and grandson. I love you and look forward to witnessing your multifaceted greatness continue to unfold. Amen, Ashe, so it is done. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Giovanni who loved making friends. Giovanni used to have a best friend that he loved playing with all the time. One day, he and his friend were hanging out at the playground playing with their toys. Giovanni said, "Let's play a game where we swap toys and then we can swap back." His friend agreed to play that game. Giovanni was ready to swap back, but his friend wanted more time to play with the toy. Giovanni tried to explain the game again, but his friend wouldn't listen. It was almost time to go home, and Giovanni still didn't have his toy. He felt frustrated that his friend wouldn't listen and wouldn't give the toy back. Giovanni went home without his toy. He still had his friend's toy. Giovanni told his dad what happened. He asked his dad, "What do you do when your friends don't listen to you?" His dad said, "Gee, it's okay that you feel frustrated, and it's okay to talk to your friends about how you feel, no matter how you feel." His dad continued, "How you say things are just as important as what you say. If you talk loud and mean to your friend, do you think he will listen?" Giovanni said, "No, he will probably get mad and talk louder to me." His dad asked, "Would you want to give back a toy to someone who is yelling at you, fighting you, or being mean to you? Would you want to listen to someone yelling at you?" Giovanni said, "No, I would feel scared or upset." His dad said, "So it will be important to talk to your friend the way you want to be spoken to. Say how you really feel and make sure he understands what you are trying to say. You should also listen to your friend." Giovanni felt scared, but he planned to talk with his friend tomorrow. The next day, Giovanni found his friend and told him how he would like his toy back. He shared that he felt sad that he didn't get it back the other day and that he wanted them to be friends. His friend said, "Giovanni, I didn't mean to make you feel sad. I really like your toy and I didn't want to give it back yet. I apologize." Giovanni said, "I hope we can keep promises we make to each other. I hope we listen to each other too." Giovanni told his dad that he was able to talk to his friend and tell him how he felt, and they listened to each other. His dad said, "Sometimes you may share your feelings and the other person may not listen. In those situations, you may have to give them time or you may have to walk away. You may need to ask an adult to help, but I'm glad you tried and that you were able to work this out on your own." Giovanni said, "Dad, I'm learning that I have the power to say how I feel and ask for what I need. I help show others how to treat me. The end.
I love that. That was fantastic. Definitely a lot to unpack in that story. Talking all about communication and the way we communicate with each other is definitely very important. But this book was great. I love this. This is awesome.
Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I look forward to answering any questions.
Of course, yeah. And speaking of questions, guys, I want to invite y'all back to the comment section to go ahead. Of course, continue to tell us where you are tuning in from. But not only that, also make sure that you guys also comment your questions for our author as well. That way we can get to those and we can shout some of you guys out. We got Terry Edwards early in
Hi,
California. Nice. Oh, yeah,
Teresa.
y'all up bright and early this morning. Yeah. Yeah, some more. Okay, that looks like another relative, Oceanside,
Yes,
California.
Uncle Kyle. Hello.
Nice. I
I
love the
love the
support,
support.
family support. Love it.
Hey, Nikki.
Yeah, we got Nikki from Stone Mountain. Appreciate y'all tuning in as well. So let's go ahead. Oh, we got Tariq Scott. Okay, Tariq, kind of similar name there. Atlanta, Georgia. Appreciate y'all so much tuning in as well. So let's go ahead and get into it, right? So I want to start with this. What I noticed in the book was we were kind of like a communication style, right? And I know one thing that we always hear when we're walking about life is sometimes it's not what you say, is how you say it, right? And one thing that you talked about in the book was you were talking about, I think the dad was explaining to the son, hey, he's not really going to take it well if you're saying it loudly and you're yelling at him and you're being mean. You talk about how important it is to say things a certain way, that way it doesn't come off in a wrong manner.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a lot of times people, they say things in a certain, well, they say words and they think because they said these words that the other person is supposed to now take it exactly how they, or hear what they said. But a lot of times people are hearing how you said it before they hear what you say. So if you're loud, people hear loud first, and then they're like, wait, processing, let me go back to what this person said and now try to hear. So how we speak, how we say things is as important as what we're trying to say to the other person. And if we want to be understood, it has to be shared in a way that people want to hear it and can take the time to hear you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I also like the fact that in the book you used toys, right? So it was kind of funny because I remember this was an airplane and this airplane and a bus, I noticed. But actually one of my favorite toys as a child was the remote control helicopter, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, and my cousin had one, and I will always be playing with his remote control because I ain't have one just yet. So I will always be playing with his and stuff. I don't want to give it back either. That was my favorite toy. So I understand where he's coming from with not wanting to give the toy back. Can you tell us the significance surrounding those specific toys and why you chose those specific toys?
To be honest, I didn't really put a lot of thought in the toys, but I think about how, little boys always, playing with trucks and just different things. But clearly, you can play with any toy you want to play with. I just thought it was fun just to be playing with a bus and an airplane.
Yeah,
Nothing specific, but I do think it is interesting when somebody has something different than you have, and you want to spend time with it, you want to learn and have fun with it too. And so sometimes your friends have access to things that you don't have access to, and it's hard to like release and give that toy back. So this is about sharing, you know and thinking about how the other person is feeling or what they might want or need, and just being a good friend.
yeah, absolutely. Definitely very important. And guys, just want to remind y'all to go ahead, head to the comment section. Make sure you type up your questions, and we'll try to get to as many questions as possible during the broadcast. So one thing that I like is I like the fact that the dad was a part of it, kind of explaining to the son about communication style. Can you talk about why it was important, I guess, why you decided to include the dad in it to be that person to explain to a son about communication.
hmm Well, one, my nephew's dad is my brother,
Yeah.
and he has a really good relationship with him. And I love showing relationships with men and their sons, and I don't think they get the the shout outs, the accolades that they deserve. There are a lot of very involved dads, and I love that, and I think it's important to highlight that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that part of the book. You know, I like that father son bond and stuff. That's really
hmm
special. So always good to see that right there, right? So let me ask you this: when it comes to communication, right? They always say that communication is the foundation to a lot of things when it comes to relationships. Maybe it might be organizations or businesses, companies, all this stuff. Why is communication so important? Why is communication the foundation to succeed?
Well, usually, as a couple, as an organization, as parents, we're trying to accomplish something. And usually it takes multiple people. It takes, as we say, a village. It takes a community to actually accomplish those goals. And in order for us to do that, we have to be communicating with one another. We have to be sharing a vision, an expectation, the steps to get there. And so, if you don't have that opportunity to help people be on the same page, it's hard to accomplish goals. So, communication is everything. Um, I think the biggest thing when we think about communication, we think about talking. We think about how we're doing what we're doing. But I think one of the bigger parts of communication is listening. I don't know, old folks say they gave you two ears and one mouth because you're supposed to be listening, more than you're talking. And so communication is about listening. And I think people forget that. And so in the book, a couple of times the dad is like, you need to listen to your friend. You need to pay attention to what he's saying also.
Yeah, that's definitely very important. Listen, like you said, listening is such an important factor when it comes to communication, and that is actually one thing I did notice in the book. And I like that, and I like that saying that the people say the 2 years of one mouth because you should be listening twice as much than talking. You know, sometimes we always just
Absolutely.
want to talk and say how we feel. What about the listening to the other person? You know what I'm saying? So that's really important. But definitely a very, very important communication style and stuff because sometimes, when we're listening, sometimes we may like we were talking about earlier, sometimes we may hear something a little bit differently than what the person is trying to make it come across and communicate to us. That's why it's important to, when somebody's talking, let them finish, right? Let them finish, and also let them explain exactly what they're saying. That way, you're able to understand it and all that good stuff. That way you guys can have a healthy communication style and have a healthy conversation. That's listening very, very important. Glad you stressed that and put that in the book too.
I like what you said too about, letting someone finish what they're saying. I think even when someone's letting somebody finish, they're already thinking about what their response is going to be. And so they're really not listening.
Yeah.
So it's so important that you hear them out, maybe even try to paraphrase. So what you meant was, or what you were, am I hearing this right?
Mhm.
Were you saying this? Did you mean that? And then once you've gotten that buy-in that, hey, we're on the same page, then respond. So
Yeah.
reflective listening is extremely important to make sure, hey, did I hear that right? Am I hearing it the way that this person intended? Or did I put my own stuff on there?
Absolutely. And then if you don't understand something, it's another communication style. Just ask the person to explain. Okay, can you actually? I don't. Maybe I'm not a little clear. Can you help me understand exactly what you're talking about or exactly what you mean? I just want to make sure that I understand what
hmm
you're saying. So that's not another way to make sure that everybody's point gets across in a positive manner as well. So yeah, I love this. We
Absolutely.
all talking about communication. I know this book is for kids, but let me tell you, this can help adults too, because I'm sure that we all have struggled with communication at some point. So this is definitely very, very helpful, right? We got something in the comments from Lisa Hicks. Don't you think his friend needs to respect the fact that the toy doesn't belong to him and he should give it back whenever he was asked to? That's a good point.
That's a great question, Lisa. And, in a perfect world, we ask for something and then the person responds immediately. That would be great. But it doesn't always happen like that. And as you can see in the book, I think his friend didn't necessarily mean to be, mean. He really was enjoying it. He was focused on himself a little bit, but he apologized. He did return it. He learned that his friend, his feelings were a little hurt and he was a little sad. And I think it was an opportunity for him to do better and learn. So maybe the next time when he asks for his toy back, he'll give it back right away.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was just having fun. He wouldn't even thinking. He was just having a good time. We got Michelle Franklin tuning in from Cincinnati. Okay, Cincinnati in the house.
Hey, Michelle.
Tuning in, and this is one of your relatives as well. Kyle says this clarification is especially critical when working with individuals from other countries and cultures. That is key. That's important.
That is very true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the things we assume that this person means might be totally different because it's from a different culture.
Yeah, true. And that's why it's always important, because I know, like, I guess for, and we all come across this, especially when we go on vacation, travel overseas, maybe we might go on a cruise or take a flight to another country and stuff. Like, their communication style is going to be different from what we do over here in America, especially, if they talk a different language, we might not always understand exactly what they're saying and stuff. So yeah, definitely that's very key and very important there. Always being open to the way other people communicate, as you might not understand it off the bat. So that's definitely a good point there. I do want to talk to you about this, right? So one thing that people probably notice is that we've had you here several times. You are no stranger to Students with King, right? Can you tell us what, like, the key to not only, like, you didn't just write one book. I don't know how you've written several books, right? Because you've come here several times, right? Can you tell us the importance of, one, being a serial author, and how did you manage to write so many books and make them all successful?
Well, I appreciate that. Well, there are a total of 6 books.
Nice.
And they're all on social emotional learning. And so it's super important, I think, just as a counselor, and I've worked with a lot of different people and I've worked with adults who, I realized, well, maybe these are some things that if I had heard them when I was younger and had maybe that seed planted, it's something I could have continued to practice on and build upon. And maybe by the time I was an adult, I had these, really great communication and skills and an emotional maturity that sometimes we lack. So it really comes from all the work that I've been able to do with individuals and work with children and work with adults and work on myself. So that's kind of where the topics come from.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love this. And like I said, this was absolutely fantastic. An amazing edition of Students with King Reading Corner. We appreciate you so much for coming on and sharing with us about your amazing book. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can purchase it and how people can support you.
Well, the best place to go is my website, which is sedarabursonlpc.com. But of course, it's available on all the different platforms where you can purchase them online. So definitely go to sedarabursonlpc.com. I would say that's the best place to go.
Nice. Well, thank you so much once again for coming on and taking time out to share your amazing book with our students. We appreciate you so much, and I'm sure that you will be coming out with more books, and we'll be having you back again. So
I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And guys, we got a couple of announcements before we go. So I want to make sure that we shout out our next Students with King. It will be on April 15th, 2025. Be on the lookout for more details coming soon. Make sure you guys follow the King Center on social media. That way you guys can stay tuned in to all the alerts as they do post when we are having upcoming sessions and Students with King Reading Corner and all of that good stuff. Also, before we do that, before we end, I also want to invite you guys to go ahead and take our post survey as well. So go ahead, take out your camera app. All you have to do is scan that QR code, and then that QR code will take you to a website where you guys can go ahead and take our survey. Very, very important that you guys take this survey. Lets us know exactly how we're doing here at the King Center, and how we can make your experience more better as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this amazing. Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing. We also have our interactive civil rights talk with Dr. Felicia Mobley, and that will be taking place on March 27, 2025 at 10 a.m. You can register for that at www.thekingcenter.org. That will be an amazing civil rights talk, so make sure you guys stay tuned in and sign on to that, as well as that will be happening later on this month. So make sure y'all tune in and get registered for that as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this amazing edition of Students with King Reading Corner. I'm your moderator, Tyreek Wynn. Thank you for the King Center for this amazing opportunity, and we'll catch you guys next time. Have a good day.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bernice A. King.
And I'm Dr. Kimberly P. Johnson.
And we are the co-authors of
It Starts With Me. Well, it starts with me.
No, I think it really starts with me.
No.
Well, maybe it just starts with you.
It starts with you.
This is a book for children and the rest of the world about love. A powerful word that really can change and transform our world. Now, this girl here is Amora. So Amora is going to take us on a journey around the world with her friends, talking about how we can be loved.
Thank you so much for reading this book. It Starts With Me. Dr. King's vision is coming to life, and you guys are going to carry that vision into the world. Have fun reading.
We want our children and you, parents, to be loved in the way you speak, in the way you act, and in the way you think. That's what it starts with me about. It starts with me. I am the one who infects the world with love.
It starts with me.
We join hands with people around the world who yearn for peace. We are tired of other people making decisions for us. We want to control what happens to us. We want to write our own history. We want to tell our own story because we feel that we know it better than anyone else.